That's fine. That's fine. Eventually tell me. Preferably when I'm not looking at the computer.
Did you ever figure out what we're going to talk about? If not, that's fine.
Well, just to let people know, since I'm not going to be in town next week, me and David decided to film. It's new.
Film?
Shit.
Film?
God, maybe I shouldn't be drinking.
I know I am. That's how I get through my day.
But
my employer makes me turn to alcoholism.
Damn you, FedEx.
Oh, I didn't want to name my employer. If they ever hear it and I talk bad about them in a negative light, I could get fired.
You'd be the first.
Yeah.
But yeah, since I'm going to be out of town next week, me and David decided it'd probably be a good idea to record 2 in one day.
So yeah, all the stuff that we would have talked about next week, we're not going to be able to because we haven't seen it yet. Or, yes.
That episode of Community, it was fantastic.
Yes, so fantastic. I love that ending and how it sets up for the rest of the series.
More evil people with mustaches.
Goatees.
Oh,
Goatees. It's a reference to Liam Neeson in Star Trek.
Mad Men. Don's such a dick.
Right?
Dick.
And Betty's a terrible actress.
She's not bad on that show, actually.
I think... No, the show definitely works to the point that she's a bad actress, so they work with her in that element. Yeah, like, she's a shitty actress. Let's work with that. Let's go with it.
Let's help her look good in front of people, in the reality.
Yeah.
She's not that good.
I think January Jones is attractive.
Well, I didn't say she wasn't.
Oh.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Okay.
I say, never mind.
No.
That's what it came off as.
Well, fair.
You know, like, let's make her look good in front of people when
no,
actually
no.
she...
Well, I didn't mean physically good. I meant, acting good.
Oh.
Make her look...
I'm pretty sure everybody listening to this podcast has probably watched First Class and realized she's a terrible actress.
She looks like Emma Frost.
Yeah.
But she's not Emma Frost.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But, so yeah.
So yeah, two episodes in one day. Even though we did have a break and we went to see Chronicle.
Yes, we saw it at the $1.75 theater.
Yes, we paid $1.75.
And it's kind of...
It was worth it.
The screen is so freaking small.
I know, it was basically
so
like,
weird.
hey, I'm going to set my cell phone on the other end of this table and watch a movie like that.
And I don't know, it's so weird to go to one of those little theaters now with the aisle going down the middle.
Oh, I know.
And the stadium seating isn't there. It's just a weird, gradual thing.
It's all kind of flat. And they have, the seats aren't the best for larger people. If this was an airplane, I would have to buy 2 seats.
But you actually buy 2 seats. I wonder if the last time you actually flew.
I've never had to buy 2 seats. I'm not that fat. But that's what these theater seats make me feel like. Like, oh, this is the standard for people today in the United States. I'm overweight.
I don't think they were, because I think that theater was built a few decades ago.
I'm going to say the 70s. And they haven't updated it since.
I think the 80s would probably be a better guess considering the interior design of the lobby.
It would probably be the 80s.
Yeah.
And it still looks like it's in the 80s.
Yeah.
I think even their arcade might be still in the 80s.
Going there for some Pac-Man.
Yeah. Pac-Man and Galaga combo.
But,
which is an awesome machine. They had it at the Dairy Queen bias. High school for the longest time.
Shitty Dairy Queen.
It's an awesome pizza place now.
But, so yeah, Chronicle. That was a good movie.
It was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. Like, it was a view that we really don't get much in superhero films. You really get to see the story told by the supervillain.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to see somebody become a supervillain, which in most movies it's the hero's story and not the villain's. And that's what I really liked most about it. And you really did feel for the guy.
I think my favorite part of the movie was the way they used because it's one of those found footage movies, and I think they did a good job filming an action sequence being constrained with found footage because they used any sort of camera that was available to them,
Mm-hmm.
like cameras on choppers, cameras in police cars, security cameras while they're blowing through freaking buildings.
Stealing from the people around them, like taking their cell phones, iPods, cameras,
Mm-hmm.
and recording the fight in that way. I just thought that was fantastic. It was really creative, a really interesting way to do it.
Yeah, and there was somebody was trapped in a car that was being floated through the air, and they had a camera on, and that was probably my favorite part of the movie, mainly because it reminded me of the Spider-Man ride down in Universal Studios when.
Also, kind of reminded me of like the Back to the Future ride when you're riding in the car,
True.
which is not the Simpsons ride.
I don't think. I don't want to Back to the Future ride. I kind of like shit.
Well, yeah, that's why they updated it and changed it to the Simpsons, which is kind of a boring ride. I'm not gonna lie.
What the hell is the plot of it?
It's the exact same ride, except
So they travel through time.
not quite. They're on a roller coaster, but it's the same, like,
So the motion of the vehicles are still
pretty much, yeah. And it's still the same vehicles. They just repainted them and shit.
So they still look like DeLoreans.
Okay, not quite, but they still have like they just basically repainted them and like maybe did some like other features to them to make them not look like DeLoreans.
Because that's kind of a unique car.
You know how they always have videos going through, like when you're walking through the place,
Mm-hmm.
and it was basically like the Krusty Land episodes,
Okay.
like all the times that you're at like Krusty Land, like combined into one like hour long like thing. I kind of wish it's on the DVD somewhere maybe.
Okay.
But Doc Brown's actually in it. They interview Doc Brown for the closing of the ride, the Back to the Future ride. I was like, that's a nice touch. Keep the history there.
Yeah.
Speaking of updating rides, they updated the Spider-Man ride, which I really want to go on now.
Yeah, I honestly thought they actually did to it.
Evidently, that one female symbiote's still in it, which I don't know who she is, and that always really bugged me.
Yeah, I have no idea who the fuck that person is. I mean, no idea.
Yeah. Well, what? They just need a female villain, and they're like, oh, symbiotes are cool. Let's make a female version of Carnage for this video. All right, I'll go with it.
Yeah. But, so, yeah. Let's see. How about we start going through the comics that come out in 2 weeks
In 2 weeks.
from now, but David's going to post this later so that it's actually, from when you're listening to this, it'll be next week.
These books will be current, not in the near future. Unless I get bored and just decide to post it.
Alright, let's see. Buffy.
I haven't been reading Buffy. I stopped at volume 4 of season 8.
In the middle of season 9 right now. It was just revealed that Buffy's a robot.
What?
And not only that, but the robot Buffy thought she was pregnant.
How is she a robot? So they didn't actually bring her back in like season 6 or whatever?
I don't know yet. It cliffhanged with somebody cutting off her arm, and it was a robot arm. Yeah, it sounds pretty.
Like, that's one reason I stopped getting season 8. Everything was just kind of
Getting weirder and weirder.
weirder and weirder. It was over the top, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted, what's her name, to not be a giant anymore.
No, Dawn.
I was like, this is stupid. And it just really bugged me. And, I mean, I'll eventually finish season 8 if I can find it at like half-price books for cheap.
Okay.
But I'm not going to go out of my way to read it, which is such a shame because Buffy the Vampire Slayer is one of my all-time favorite TV shows ever. And the comic is just kind of like, all right, if this were ever to be on TV, it would have got canceled.
But
So she's a robot, and she had a robot abortion in the storyline.
well, she was gonna get an abortion, but now she knows she's a robot.
Sad.
I have to wait until the story's done.
Is it a life model decoy?
I mean, there's been Buffy box before,
Yeah, I know.
but so this is one where you kind of have to wait and see. But right now, you're kind of like,
It would really
fuck.
bother me if they retconned like the past.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
You're like, yeah, she was never actually in heaven, and
Oh,
they didn't actually.
that would suck.
Yeah, it would.
Oh. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of worrisome. Let's see, Batgirl's coming out. I stopped getting Batgirl.
I like it. I don't remember what happened. Well, I haven't already. Did I just? No, it's still in my pool box. I haven't bought it yet. So I can't really talk about Batgirl.
Okay.
So
It shows you how much he likes it.
I do like it. I do. But I mean, I stuck with the entire last series before the relaunch. Was Stephanie Brown. And I'm just like, where the hell's Steph?
There's no plan.
Which drives me nuts. That's one of the reasons I'm getting Batgirl. I'm like, maybe they'll mention her.
Nope.
I want to know what the hell is going on with her. Because, you know what? I stuck around that book for 24 issues.
No, they somebody asked about her at Emerald City Comic Con.
Yeah.
One of the panels. DC said it's for 70.
Why? That book wasn't a failure. It lasted 24 issues. The only reason it ended was because of the relaunch. Okay, I can understand not having any plans for her. Mention her. Tell me where she's at. And that's all I would need. Be like, give me some confirmation that, oh, she's a spoiler again. Just give me that. Don't completely ignore her existence. Except in the Batman Incorporated one shot that came out. Wasn't she in there?
But yeah, they specifically stated that it was pre-New 52.
Yeah, but it's still a lead into what's coming from Batman Incorporated.
Can we yell at DC?
Well, that's kind of what I'm doing here. This is my soapbox.
Next is Batman and Robin.
I love Batman and Robin.
And Batman and Robin's pretty good. Patrick Gleason art is fantastic.
I agree.
There's really no other book that looks like that on the shelf.
Oh, not at all. And I'm loving Tomasi's writing. I just love that relationship between Bruce and Damian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, I really enjoyed the brother relationship that was there before the relaunch with Dick and Damian.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really enjoying the Bruce and Damian aspect of the book. It makes you look at Bruce in a whole different light than what you ever looked at him as before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he's actually like a caring father. That's still sticking his 9-year-old son to fight crime, but it's still a fantastic book that everybody should be reading.
Alright. Next up is Batwoman. And Batwoman right now, I'm a little annoyed with because I think the way they're structuring the issues really seems to me like they're writing for the trade. Like they're jumping around. Well, no, it's just that they're jumping around in time a lot.
Yeah, that is true.
And I think for like a serialized story like that, it's kind of a lot to try to keep up with, especially since DC doesn't have a recap page.
Yeah.
That's fucking retarded. How hard is it to have a recap page?
I mean, this is an argument we've been having for years.
And it's like they stated because it's up to the story to recap for readers. But
That
that's
seems
just
like a waste of...
that leads to junky exposition in the issue. That's
Yeah.
unnecessary if you just had a recap page.
Yeah.
So,
What do you think of the new artist on Batwoman?
I like her, but she's actually not going to be on the issue. I think she's got one more issue and then she's off the book because I think there was some sort of editorial disagreement with her in DC.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so they had to get somebody else in.
I mean, I thought she was a decent replacement for...
Yeah. She definitely kept up the panel work.
Oh, yeah,
Page
definitely.
was known for.
I mean, there weren't as many two-page spreads that you know, but they were still in there and they were still pretty. They were still entertaining to look at.
I'm very paranoid that I messed up the initials of that guy's name. Is it J.H. Williams?
Do you have it handy? Well, as you're looking that up, what's the next book that's coming out?
Green Lantern.
regular Green Lantern.
Yes. With Sinestro.
With Sinestro and Hal Jordan.
Yes.
Well, what's your take on the series at the moment?
I like it. I like having Sinestro in such a prominent role because Sinestro is fucking awesome.
No,
Sinestro is like one of the best villains ever. Yeah. Just because you understand his point of view.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a dick.
The way he goes about it isn't the best way he could.
Yeah, holding Carol up to gunpoint to get Hal to do stuff isn't really the nicest thing to do, but Sinestro kind of has a point, especially with how with the Guardians are planning on replacing the Green Lantern Corps with something.
Yeah.
We don't know what yet, but
we've already tried it once. See what happens.
That wasn't replacing. That was making. What was that? Not ranks. Cops investigate other cops.
Internal Affairs.
Yeah, Internal Affairs. Internal Affairs for the land.
That's valid.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it's it was really weird. You remember that? I think it was like 2 issues ago when Mike Choi did the art for it for 1 issue, and it was really weird seeing his art though because it looked so. Like, or it was around the same time I was reading X-Men Second Coming, and he did, 4 of the issues in that. It was a crossover across like several books. And his art in there looked a hell of a lot better than when he was doing Green Lantern. Like, his Green Lantern stuff was really sloppy to me. It was really weird.
I don't recall. I didn't pay, well, I mean, I paid attention when I was reading it, but not enough to pick back up. How long until you think Hal Jordan becomes like the prominent character in the book again? Or if he ever will?
I don't know. I like having Hal and Sinestro in the same book.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not a big fan of Hal being his bitch.
it's really weird. Ever since the reboot, Hal's been written like a really big dick.
Right?
Like, you read Justice League.
Yeah.
When he was.
Well, that makes sense because I mean that's set in the past and it's new and it's cocky.
Well, no. Like even last week's issue was set in the present day,
Yeah.
and he was still a dick.
That's not good.
And it's like the way he was written before. He was he was brash,
Yeah.
and a little arrogant, but not to this degree. This degree just makes him seem like an asshole. It's kind of bothersome.
One thing that's really bugged me about the Green Lantern books is before the relaunch, they felt so interconnected, and I don't feel that currently. I don't feel that connectivity that drew me to the Green Lantern books. I mean, all of them, and they just felt like such a one thought. Even before like War of the Green Lanterns, they were still leading to plays. I don't feel that anymore.
Yeah, almost like there's a part of me that thinks, I don't know, like obviously all the books were leading to like Blackest Night and stuff, and now maybe at this point they don't know exactly what they're leading to, or at least maybe they do. I don't know.
I mean, there's hints like the lanterns getting replaced and whatnot. Little elements popping up, but nothing that's really making the books like a thing like they were before. Unlike the Bat books, which for the most part are all pretty well interconnected.
Yeah, well, especially Nightwing and Batman.
Yeah. And Nightwing and Batgirl have crossed over into each other's books, and Night of the Owls cross over this next one.
The only weird thing is that there's only like 10.
There isn't only 10. The only book, I think Tim appeared in one panel of Batman, and then he's only been in Teen Titans, and it's like a bastard version of it. Like it's not the Tim Drake that I fell in love with. Like
a bastard.
I'm a huge Tim Drake fan. I'm a huge Robin fan, and he's not Robin. He's not the Robin I know, and it's almost like he has no connection to the Bat family at all, which just is bothersome being such a fan of Tim Drake.
It was really I saw a comic that was making fun of some of the redesigns, and Tim and Dick were having a conversation, and Dick was like, Tim was like, "You're getting stuck in stupid little things."
I kind of like his look. I kind of like the look. I think it's a nice progression. Like, it still has elements from its Red Robin costume. And I don't know. I like the wings. Makes them stand out. I just wish Teen Titans was better.
Let's see what's next. You're not getting Shade.
We can still talk about it.
Well, Shade is that's a bit convoluted, honestly. Like, if you haven't read Starman, James Robinson Starman, you kind of probably wouldn't enjoy Shade.
Right on. I need to read Starman. Andrew has it on. He has the big Omnibuy.
Superboy.
Superboy. One thing about this book, it has moments where it's a really fun book, and then there's other times where I'm just like, what the fuck am I reading? Like, I picked up I picked up the series. I haven't picked up the latest issue. It's still not good. But those first 2 issues, I hated, and I really wanted to like them because I really like Superboy. And it wasn't until about the 3rd issue where I was like, hey, this was a really fun issue. I'm glad I stuck with it. And like the next 2 were okay. They were on that same level, and they were starting to cross over with Teen Titans a bit much. And because all those books are really kind of interconnected, because they're all written by the same guy almost. And it just, I think if it would have just told Superboy's like new origin on its own, it could have been interesting instead of mixing his origin in with Teen Titans. And this is the first team of Teen Titans. They've never existed before. Okay. And yeah, the current team of Teen Titans is the first and only team of Teen Titans. Beast Boy's never been a Teen Titan. Starfire's never been a Teen Titan.
I think that in Red Hood and the Outlaws, though.
Have they mentioned it?
Rory asked Starfire about the Teen Titans if she remembers them. So, I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I even think, Scott Lobdell writes Red Hood and he writes
Interesting.
Super. So I think there's...
Yeah, from reading Teen Titans, it definitely makes it seem like this is the first incarnation of the team.
Yeah, but Rory remembers it and Starfire.
It's interesting.
So there could be something there.
Yeah. Little hints at. Saga issue 1 was incredible.
Yeah, Saga by Brian K. Vaughan, the creator of Y the Last Man, Ex Machina, and Runaways. 3 of the best series from this decade.
He was also a writer on Lost.
Yes. And the quality of Lost kind of picked up when he joined the writing staff, I have to say. Because he joined right at the end of the 3rd season.
Okay, because it started the 3rd season with a piece of garbage.
But, Saga, I mean, it's completely different than anything that man's written before.
Yeah, you go into it, you don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm. But it's like some weird mix of magic and sci-fi, where it's like, these 2, like, there's a moon and a planet, and they're at war with each other. But they realize if they were continuing to war with each other, that their lands would be destroyed and so on. So now they sort of contracted other planets so that they can have their war there. And, like, one side uses magic, one side seems to be a big proponent of technology. And I thought that was interesting. And it's about a couple who just gave birth to a baby. I forget if they're married or not. But, and they're both sort of, they're both from each side.
Kind of like a Romeo and Juliet sort of thing. Story, yeah.
So they're on the run for some reason. I guess because, well, the father with the rank ones, his turncoat kind of abandoned his post. I'm not sure about the...
Well, it's on the first issue.
Yeah, but... Yeah, it's a very interesting premise, and it's a gorgeous looking.
Oh, most definitely. I never thought I'd like to see robots banging, but there's robots banging.
Yeah, there's a really weird panel where these robots with like TVs for their heads are having sex, and you're kind of like, okay, wait, are you robots?
Yeah, they have like human bodies, and they're just kind of like, All right. I'll go with it.
But another series I've been picking up, and I don't think you have, is Thief of Thieves. That's been a good book.
Is this issue 2?
3.
Issue 3.
Yeah.
So issues 1 and 2 are most likely still on the short screen.
Maybe, or at least second print. A lot of the image books lately have actually been selling out. There's like some weird kind of renaissance happening where a lot of people are starting to pick up independent books.
Hey, it's because of The Walking Dead.
Potentially, but it's like a podcast I listen to, Acme Comics. They talk about that where they order a shit ton of books, but they manage to sell out a lot.
Yeah. Well, my comic book store in Florida, the comic shop, they were a big time push of independent stuff, and they'll get so many copies of Saga. I forget how many they said on their Facebook page, but it was an insane number that they sold the day it came out. I want to say 100 plus copies. They sold out of Saga #1 in that Wednesday.
Actually, I heard there was one store who actually ordered more copies of Saga than they did of the first issue of Justice League with Jeff Johns and Jim Lee. And that's how much they believe that. I think they're sold the majority of it.
I believe it. That's one thing that kind of bugs me about other comic stores I've been to, where they mostly push the big two.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when Scott Pilgrim came out. When the last volume of Scott Pilgrim came out, I should say.
Yeah.
I was putting in time at the comic book store quite a bit down there, and they were we pushed so many copies of Scott Pilgrim out that door. They got so many people reading it, more so than any other thing that was coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even like when the Watchmen movie came out, they were selling Watchmen for $10, the trade for $10, and we're selling out. And it bugs me when comic book stores don't take advantage of that. When you can be making a lot of money by pushing this one product at this one time, but you choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
And they were selling the new volume of Scott Pilgrim, but they were selling the first one for half off when it came out. That's a great way to pick up readership. Because, okay, the new one came out, they can buy volume 1 and then be hooked because it's Scott Pilgrim, and that'll just happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you sell volume 1 for half off, they'll be back together.
Yeah, definitely. But I think one thing that kind of bugs me about comic book stores is when they are lazy and they don't really try to sell out the independent titles. Mm-hmm. Because I think in some ways it should be easier to sell some of those than superheroes, because superheroes, everybody already knows who Spider-Man is.
Yeah,
they're good.
Are pretty niche.
Yeah, and it's just that you can already sell Spider-Man. If somebody's going to be in there, they're probably already there for Spider-Man or Batman or something like that. These are things that sell themselves. The independent titles are what needs to be pushed onto the customer, not the superhero stuff. The superhero stuff is almost there to bring the customers in. Once the customers are in there, though, you should be showing them what else comics can do.
Like I was thinking here recently, and I've done it with a couple of people. If I'm going to have somebody, if I have a friend that wants to start reading comic books, I will give them Invincible. That will be like my introduction to comics. Give them like the first 3 volumes of Invincible, and then if you like that, then I can decide where to go next. Probably more Invincible, but I think stuff like that where, okay, they don't have this big history, and it's not quite what you're expecting, that it'll definitely give a new type of readership coming in. And I think a lot of sort of this.
The thing I like to do is blankets by Craig Thompson. If there's a person who hasn't read comics before and they want to read a comic, I don't hand them like Ultimate Spider-Man or anything. I mean, I will eventually, but I hand them blankets because it's a done-in-one graphic novel, and it has nothing to do with superheroes or actually sci-fi or fantasy. No genre, and it's a piece of literature.
Yeah.
And
I cried during blankets. I think that's the only time I've ever cried in a comic book is reading Blankets, and I was just like, this is oddly depressing and extremely personal.
Mm-hmm. And Blankets is an amazing piece of work, and that's what I normally like to hand out to people first.
Mm-hmm.
If I ran a comic book store, I would have Blankets up near the front.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Does Rob even have it?
you know, I never even checked. Disappointing.
I mean, I would do Blankets, Bone.
Yeah, Bone's another big one. Bone is like really fucking good.
Yeah. Hey, you know, the size of it might have a couple, like, some people intimidated. Like, that's a lot of reading.
Yeah, but then you tell them it's that size for $40.
Exactly.
That's 9 volumes of material for $40. That's amazing.
Most definitely.
So yeah, let's go on with the list.
I think we could have an entire podcast just on
What we-
comic book store ethics.
Let's see.
Let's open up a comic book store, David.
That's a horrible
I
idea.
know.
So, I mean, come on.
I know.
I don't even go to a comic book store.
I know. It was a joke. I think we could do Team One.
So let's see. Avengers Assemble is coming out, but we
Yeah.
kind of bitched about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, we bitched about it last week, but you.
I think we've done nothing but bitch about it. I think we probably bring it up in every podcast so far.
Because it's really fucking disappointing. It's Bendis and Bagley on an Avengers title. You should have been like, oh yeah. And
Yeah.
left going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Let's see. No, we didn't mention the last podcast. Probably because it got shipped to stores early because of the midnight sale, so it wasn't on the list. But Avengers vs. X-Men.
Oh yeah.
But you haven't read Zero yet,
I haven't read Zero,
so we can't really discuss it.
but if you're listening to this on April 4th or 3rd, is it the 3rd?
I think it's the 3rd actually. Today's 3rd, yeah, 3rd.
On April 3rd, most comic stores are having a pre-release of Avengers vs. X-Men.
Yeah, they're normally around 8, whatever time. I mean, whatever time zone you're in, it's probably going to be at 8.
So if you want to jump on a big summer event book that has both the biggest 2 teams at Marvel in it, and if you just want a bunch of action and great writers and great creative teams all around, pick up AVX.
Yeah, it's Avengers vs. X-Men is a 12-part event, but it's actually going to take place in 6 months because they're double shipping it, which I think is a really good idea because, like, when Secret Invasion came out, it was 8 months long, and it really seemed to drag.
Felt 8 months long.
But so for Avengers vs. X-Men, they have 5 writers and 3 artists.
Or is every issue double shipping now? Like, is like Avengers going to double ship?
No, I don't think so. Because I think since Walt Simonson is doing Avengers, it's just going to be one. New Avengers, I think, may be doing it. But, so yeah, like, they've got Brian Michael Bendis, Jason Aaron, Matt Fraction, Ed Brubaker, and Jonathan Hickman doing the writing. And the artists are being separated by acts. So John Romita Jr. is doing the first 5 issues. And then after that, it switches to Olivier Coipel.
Olivier Coipel.
Thank you. Just want to make sure I'm correct. But he's doing the next acts. I'm not sure how long it is yet, because some of the issues haven't been solicited, so we haven't seen them great. And then the last act is going to be Adam Kubert. And so I think it seems like a really innovative way to do an event.
When they switch acts, is that when it also switches writers? Or?
No, Bendis is doing the first issue, Aaron is doing the second. I think from that point, I forget who's doing what, but like I think Brubaker is doing something in the first act. I think Fraction's writing the last one. It's kind of hard to remember that exactly, but yeah, they specifically picked the chapters for those writers so that they're not writing to seem like the same writer. Those parts are picked for those writers because of their qualities. Like, the Hickman issue is probably going to have a bunch of crazy-ass fucking ideas.
So that kind of worries me about it reading as a whole. It seems kind of weird that each issue will be distinctively different from the others.
I think at that point you just kind of have to wait and see how they pull it off. But another cool thing about Avengers vs. X-Men, David's kind of wary about it, but they're doing a tie-in miniseries that's just 6 issues long. It's Avengers vs. X-Men versus, where each issue has 2 fight scenes from the main miniseries. That there wasn't really enough room in the main miniseries to give the fight scene the awesomeness it really needs. So like the first issue has Magneto versus Iron Man and Thing versus Namor, and I look forward to that. It's such a, like, if you think about it, like reading other events, sometimes the action gets kind of squished. It doesn't really have the room to breathe that it really needs, and it's really cool to see this kind of thing come out, especially since they have such fantastic artists doing it. I mean,
it's the only thing that's really pulling me to the book is the artists attached to it. Again, in trade, you think these fight scenes will be? You think they would have Avengers, X-Men, and Verse in the same?
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be really cool.
I don't think that thing would. Because it's already 12 issues,
Yeah.
so it's probably.
So it'd be 18.
Yeah.
That'd be worth having on the show.
Yeah. But anyway, let's see. After Avenging Spider-Man number 6.
Neither one of us have read 5 yet. We just bought 5
it's
today.
not really. Avenging Spider-Man number 6 begins a crossover between Punisher and Daredevil.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think
I wasn't sure if the Captain America was.
no. Okay. It doesn't really have anything to do with it.
Okay. I was wrong. The first story in Avenging Spider-Man was 3 issues, so I wasn't sure if they were.
No.
Okay.
So yeah, it begins a crossover called The Omega Effect, and is written by both Greg Rucka and Mark Waid. I think both of them are writing Avenging Spider-Man, and then Rucka is handling Punisher and Waid on Daredevil. And I think it's all done by the same artist, though, Marco Cicchetto.
Okay. I know that's a gorgeous cover thing in front of like the church or whatever it was. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I think that one, that was by Audicon.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I mean, Mark Waid, Greg Rucka, Spider-Man, Punisher, and Daredevil,
See, that's one reason I wish I was getting Daredevil, because I got like the first 3 issues of Daredevil, and I don't know why I stopped. I think I was just going to get it in trade, because I like reading Daredevil in trade.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had to pick up a handful of issues because of it tying into Spider-Man books. I really enjoyed that last crossover with Spider-Man.
With the Black Cat?
With the Black Cat?
Yeah. So Peter catches Matt Murdock and Black Cat making out in the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier in the story, Peter was trying to pick up a Black Cat because Peter just broke up with Carly. So he was, trying to get some sort of form of affection, and watching Matt make out with Black Cat, which is like,
He wanted later. he wanted later, and he knew, hey, Black Cat, she's kind of loose.
oh god.
Is she not?
Yeah, she is.
So what I said was not wrong.
But, let's see, Fantastic Four. It'll be interesting to see where Hickman goes with it after, pretty much...
Did it wrap up in the wrong station? Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan Hickman just finished up, this giant 3 or 4 year long story.
Yeah.
And now, he pretty much... I think he has this next arc, and then he's off Fantastic Four after AVX is over. So I'm kind of curious as to what he does.
Well, is Spider-Man staying in the book?
I don't know. Him and Johnny are being roommates.
Yeah. I saw a cover of FF. That's the second Fantastic Four book that's out right now. Where I think Spidey's sitting on the couch watching TV with Franklin or something like that.
John.
Was it Johnny? I couldn't remember. But I was just like... So I'm glad he's sticking around because I really enjoyed him being there. I really enjoyed him in FF before Fantastic Four came back. And I would be sad to see him leave.
Yeah, I hope he sticks around too.
Yeah.
At
least until Hickman leaves.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite issues. What was that in? I think it was that issue of Spider-Man that was him like remembering Johnny. Like it was that white cover with the 4 in it. I absolutely love that issue, and him with Franklin. And I was like, oh.
That was a depressing couple of Spider-Man books.
It was.
Because before that was when Marla Jameson died.
Yeah.
They had that great fucking Marcos Martin
Mm-hmm.
couple issues. Like, Spider-Man's like overwhelmed with guilt, and he's trying to deal with this, and there's just
Top not having spiders.
but there's just like it's hard to describe Marcos Martin work because he does sequential storytelling in a way that no other artist really think about. I mean, the closest would probably be Paulo Riviera, and that's why they probably stuck them together on Daredevil at first. Marcos Martin is probably the most innovative comic artist out there right now, or at least the most innovative mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, Marcos Martin, awesome. The reprint of Goldfish is coming out.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'd like to buy Goldfish.
Have you, Goldfish is an indie series that Brian Michael Bendis did before he started working on Marvel. Have you picked up any of their reprints they've been doing?
No, they have Jinx at half price.
Those tiny hardcover?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bendis has been reprinting them in hardcover with better binding because...
my copy of Torso fell apart when I opened the book.
Yeah, my Jinx fell apart eventually too.
No, I had just started reading Torso and the damn thing fell apart. I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
But, Bendis did Fires first, and then I think Goldfish, then Jinx, and then Torso. Those are his big 4 crime noir stories he did before he started working on Marvel. He also did Fortune and Glory and Total Sellout. And those were more
those reprints.
Those are more comedic pieces, and they're all in nice little affordable hardcover packages.
Oh, they're pretty. And colored. Love.
Well, Fortune
and Glory is with color.
Yeah, Jinx and Goldfish and stuff is in black and white. Let's see. 94.
They're double shipping.
Well,
this is 2 weeks, and I just got.
That's 12.1.
Oh, okay. So that's exciting.
Yeah, Marvel's doing this weird sales initiative called Point One, where it's supposed to signify that this is an issue that somebody can pick up, and it'll be a new story. Yeah, jump on. Yeah, but
I hate when they're in the middle of the damn story arc, and then they have a Point One issue that has nothing to do with that goddamn story arc.
what's really annoying is that when I was catching up on Uncanny X-Men, going through back issues, I wasn't aware that there was a Point One thing, so I almost missed out on an issue. So it's annoying. Why can't you just... I don't really understand the significance of just saying Point One. I mean, or making it affect the...
Just put it where it needs to go. Put a label on the cover that says, brand new jumping on point, or something like that.
Yeah, it just seems unnecessary.
Well, what was really unnecessary was Ghost Rider. The Point One issue for Ghost Rider. It's the only issue of the book I got. It was 0.1.
Just call it issue 0.
Which I'm assuming is because there's probably already been a Ghost Rider 0.
There's been probably a 0 everything.
Exactly. And there's even some negative numbers. Yeah.
Who the fuck is negative?
No. I have, possibly. But I have because me and my dad are trying to get all the Spider-Man books.
Mm-hmm.
There are negative ones.
The fuck's covered in there?
They take place before. Like, Amazing Spider-Man, or negative 1, takes place before he gets his powers. It takes place before he becomes Spider-Man.
So is he a sperm? That's
No.
Negative 10.
It was just showing life before Spider-Man. And I was just kind of... And evidently they came out that month. Like, all the books were like negative.
Okay.
And this was in the 90s, so it's plausible. That every Marvel book that month, instead of it being the next number sequentially, they had a negative 1 issue. That's my guess. I don't know why else I would have like 4 of them for the Spider-Man books. Oh, speaking of which, we finally finished Web, and I think we're almost done with Spectacular. And we finished Peter Parker. Yeah. And we only need 140 issues of Amazing.
Very good. Another issue of New Avengers.
Is that in my poll as well?
Yeah.
I don't know why Marvel's double shipping. It's really bothering me.
Make money.
Make the quality of your work better.
What they're double shipping are their quality titles.
True.
Because they know they'll make money by double shipping them.
Well, they're just trying to beat DC in sales.
Well, yeah, instead of putting out titles that nobody's gonna buy, lower tier stuff, they're putting out more issues of the stuff people are gonna buy. That's meeting demand. If people are buying
they're
it,
double shipping all their stuff just so they can beat DC in sales
and make money. David, they're a business.
Yes, I know. And I'm still gonna buy them. It just bothers me.
It's because you don't have the money,
right?
But that's the only reason it bothers you.
Kind of.
I mean, I don't mind getting 2 issues of New Avengers a month.
No, because it's awesome.
Yeah. What the fuck are you complaining about?
Because I don't have money.
That's a stupid thing to bet you
No, it's not. Marvel and your customers are broke.
They want you to not buy DC product. So you have to drop DC product and able to afford Marvel product.
I could afford Marvel product if they drop the price on their books by $1. Every DC book I got is almost $1 cheaper than for the last month. I did the same where I put a pile of my $4 books and a pile of my $3 books, the $2.99 ones, and of course my independents are all like $4 just because I mean, but my Marvel stack was like this high, all $4. I'm just like, well, it wasn't that high because there's less of them because they cost more money. Drop your damn cover price by $1, and you would increase sales because more people would be able to buy more books.
See, there's probably an argument against that because sales have dropped, industry wide.
Yeah.
So you can't accuse the $3.99 of being a problem.
It's a problem to me.
Well, yeah, but you still buy the books.
Yeah.
What they
But
realize
I would buy more books if they were cheaper. Because last year when DC did the draw the line at $2.99, that made me feel good. Like I was like, yes,
that didn't
finally.
increase their sales though.
Which is kind of surprising.
Well, no, because at that point, I don't think the dollar really matters that much.
To some people, it does. It does
Obviously,
to me.
not to a point where you're going to drop the book.
I think it happened my full list.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you're not dropping the book, and there are thousands of other people not dropping the book. They may complain about it, but they're still buying it. Marvel knows this, so they're going to keep it at the same price to make more money. It's a business.
That doesn't make sense to me.
How doesn't it make sense?
What do you like getting more product out?
They think they're getting the amount of product that they're going to get out anyways. Making it cheaper isn't going to... Because DC proved that. They lowered the prices.
Yeah.
They made it at $2.99. Their sales didn't go up. It doesn't matter. At that point, Marvel knows what they can sell so that they make the highest profit margin, and it's at $3.99. If they went up to $5, I think that would fuck people over.
A lot.
Yeah, but I don't mind the $3.99 because obviously it's good business sense.
It's not good. All right.
And also, I don't pay $3.99, so I pay $1.99.
See, you can't. You're not even a valid person to be arguing with because you don't pay full price for your comics.
That's because I go to DCBS, actually, Direct Comic Book Service. It's an online place where you order your books, and almost all of them are at least 35% off. Mainstream stuff is at least 40%. You're going to...
I love my comic book store, but that is awfully tempting.
There's no...
I I like the personal feel of the comic book store.
Is it worth?
No.
Does it really make that big of a difference? Think about the amount of money you're saving.
Yeah, but I don't manage my money well, so having to pay that price up front is kind of steep.
Well, yeah, the thing about DCBS is that you have to pay for the month all at once. But at that point, you don't have to worry about paying for them week by week. They take it out once, and that's it.
That's true.
And they ship it to your house. You don't have to go to the store anymore. You don't have to waste gas. You don't have to plan your day around going to the comic book store.
I like that. I like being like, hey, Saturday's coming up. I'm going to go to the comic book store. I look forward to going to the comic book store.
Get your books on a Thursday. Because not only, I mean, this is an advantage of living in Indianapolis, but the where this company is situated is up in Fort Wayne.
Oh.
So they ship it out, and I get it the next day. I mean, in California, it was a little bit annoying because I would have to wait until Monday. But now, yeah, but here, I get it the next day. There's no point.
You sold me. Yeah. I'll have to.
I mean,
I still have another month of going to the comic book store. I'd still have to go through the next month.
Yeah, I think you might be able to download, because they have an Excel form that you can fill out. They might have April's still.
Well, I definitely couldn't afford it.
At this moment.
Yeah,
they would charge. They would probably charge you right away. Because I think that's happened before, where I had to stop getting books for a while until I got a job, and then I was like, oh, I have more money now, and I could go back and order
package.
So anyway, where were we? Secret Avengers.
Again, you know, double shipping is an issue.
Secret Avengers is a good book, though.
I can't wait to read it. It's sitting right there in that bag.
Secret Avengers was weird. Like at first.
Wait, wasn't that the .1 issue?
What?
No, I got today.
No, it's 24.
Okay. What was the .1 issue? Regular Avenger?
Yes, with Vision on it.
Okay.
But yeah, shit, I'm trying to thought.
Secret Avengers.
Oh, the art. The art in it, I was a bit worried about it because I think I saw it on the computer screen first. Like I was just looking at preview art, and I thought it looked a bit muddy. And then,
Is it the same artist from the previous issue?
yeah, Gabriel Hardin. And but once you actually see it on the page, it's a gorgeous book. I mean, I really like the line work in it. It's kind of soft and natural. If that makes sense. I mean, I'm not an expert on art or anything, but I'm really impressed with it. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes me think of Alex Lee, but without the harsh lines.
Okay.
Maybe. So, another thing coming out is Secret Service #1 by Mark Millar and Dave Gibbons. You know?
I don't know. Pitch it.
Pitch it? No, I don't really know how to pitch it. All that had to be said to me was Mark Millar and Dave Gibbons. I think it's about...
Yeah, we talked about it in our first episode where I really feel Mark Millar is going that way.
Yeah, but, I don't know. Kick-Ass is really entertaining. And Kick-Ass is entertaining enough where I'll give his indie series a shot, because they are normally pretty good.
I didn't finish Nemesis. I didn't even bother with Superior.
I eventually bought Superior. I haven't read it yet. I got it in trade over there.
For some reason, I didn't read the last issue.
I had a neat ending. Yeah, that completely restructured the premise. You want me to? Yeah, Secret Service. I'm not really sure what it's about, honestly.
Secret Service?
Yeah, spies and shit.
Oh, Mark Millar, Dave Gibbons.
There you go. And for those who don't know, Dave Gibbons drew Watchmen. And that's all you need to know about him. Because, come on, Watchmen. Let's see. Ultimate Comics, X-Men.
I'm so far behind.
Yeah, I think a part of me is disappointed with the Ultimate relaunch in a way, especially since
it's so soon to the last relaunch. Come on.
a part of me is kind of annoyed that Hickman and Spencer are already leaving their books.
Are they? I didn't know that. Well, that's a reason not to get caught up.
Jonathan Hickman's co-writing with somebody for a couple issues, and then that guy's taking over.
Who's taking over?
Some guy I already heard of.
Oh, wow.
And Spencer, I don't know, Brian Wood's taking over.
Well, that at least is some hope.
Yeah, but they're leaving after 12 issues. And a part of me, a little annoying, because the way they sold it made it sound like they all had, long plans for the series. And to see them kind of cut out like that after 12 issues, it really bothers them. Because I think my favorite comic stories are normally the ones that are serialized for such a long time.
They take years to hold.
Like Jeff Johns and Brian Bendis. They
Hickman's FF.
Oh, yes.
That's one of the funnest books I've ever read.
I mean, well, you never read Mark Waid's Fantastic Four. But, it's just, I don't mind if you sell that you're only going to be on it for 12 issues, like when Mark Millar did Wolverine or something. You're going to be on it for 12 issues. That's how long the story's going to be. But if you sell it as if you're going to be on it for a long time, that kind of bugs me. And you leave so soon. Up next, Uncanny X-Men. You read the...
Yeah, I read the Avengers one.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. The Avengers weren't in it as much as I thought they were going to be. They weren't as prominent as what I thought they were going to be. Especially by that cover, it seemed like a full-on team-up.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was, but no Avengers really got any lines.
Maybe there'll be more next issue.
I was hoping for more of a relationship build before it gets ripped apart. Next week.
Yeah, next week.
Or this week, I don't know what happened.
That's kind of weird. I didn't think about it. That's coming out. Yeah.
By a day. Yeah.
Well, not by day, but a week.
Yes, by a week, yeah.
That's weird.
Was everything else double shipping? They couldn't get that out beforehand.
That's always kind of annoying.
Especially they've been double shipping Uncanny X-Men for
Yeah.
months now, trying to get it all out before AVX, and this comes out a week after.
Yeah, that kind of bugs me. Like, if you're telling a story that takes place over several series, you should be able to get the series out in chronological order, so the audience reads it in the way it's meant to be read.
It's normal, baby.
Yes.
And Captain America Reborn.
Yeah, that was kind of messy.
That was really messy. Hey, Captain America's been in all these other books before.
He's even back in his own.
Yeah.
That was kind of unfortunate. Winter Soldier number 4.
Ooh.
Soldier.
The Winter Soldier is the prettiest book I think I've read in a long time.
Yeah, Butch Guice is doing work I don't think he's ever done before. I think, like, he was on Captain America for a while, but I think having his own series to establish himself on in a way, and establish his own sort of aesthetic, has freed up his art, and really creative panel arrangements that do a great job of just moving your eyes across the page and keeping the action flowing. It's and not only that, but like the way he draws the characters and stuff, or just I suppose I'm sort of at a loss for words.
That describes the book pretty well. Being at a loss of words is not a bad thing. Because the book is stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely stunning. There are a couple things that concern me, but not about the book. And I'm just more of like, alright, when's Bucky going to get back into the more mainstream Marvel? When's everybody else going to find out that it's still?
I don't think they will for a while. I think Brubaker doesn't really like writing with the main universe. I think him having Bucky off by himself doing spy adventures is the perfect book for him.
You think he'll show up in Captain America? I mean, Brubaker's Captain America book is firmly established in the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah, that's probably as close as we'll get. But I think at this point, everybody's probably leaving Bucky alone for Brubaker.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't want anybody else to do it this way. But I mean, he is already a couple of issues late. Yeah, so we kind of
need to see him in there.
Yeah, I need to see him pop up in 2 weeks. Wait a minute. We had a hole through Ian. I can see Spider-Man saying those exact lines. Exactly, kind of how I delivered them.
That's it. And the other thing coming out is Wolverine. And
I haven't been reading Wolverine.
I've got a giant stack of Wolverine I need to read. I caught up on all the Jason Aaron issues that I was missing. I think goes all the way back to when it relaunched in #1, and then they switched the numbering back over to 300.
Which must be really confusing. Because Jason Aaron's Wolverine is kind of all over the place. It doesn't stay in one title that long.
Yeah, it's.
Let's.
The whole numbering thing, like renumbering shit, and then when I started reading comics, I just started reading them. I didn't give a shit whether it was a #1 or not.
Yeah.
As long as I knew it was the beginning of a story arc, I was good. As long as that's advertised clearly.
New story arc, new creative team.
Yeah,
That's all
advertise
you
that,
know.
but the numbering just seems stupid.
I agree. Especially, like, I'm still holding out for DC to, in like 4 more issues or whatever, for Detective Comics. For Detective Comics to go to issue 900.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how they handle it.
Because I think that would piss a lot of people off if they didn't.
Maybe they'll acknowledge it in some way, but still keep the current numbering.
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll still say like issue 12 or whatever, but then on the front they'll say 900th issue.
Yeah. Possibly, but I mean, I'm also someone who's firmly for dual numbering. I know when I started picking up like Straczynski Spider-Man, it was like issue 30 and 400. They had both sets of numbers, which I think that would also be a great way to show. Okay, this is where it's at currently.
But in the whole package,
Yeah.
it's like 400.
Yeah, I think dual numbering is a very valid way of doing things.
Like I said, I don't want to give a shit. So, I just think it's a silly thing.
It's annoying if you're trying to get caught up on a book.
Yeah, if you're looking through the back issues for something and then you miss shit
Yeah.
because the numbering switches or something.
Or it has a point of 1.
That totally surprised me. I just found it. I was looking through trying to get books, and all of a sudden this .1 showed up, and I was like,
Sure, there's more than 1.
yeah, I double checked after that. I know it would have been awesome. It's a really annoying issue in this.
Which one?
It was one where the reporter interviewed Magneto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he saved there's like an earthquake happening, and Magneto went out there and saved the entire city by magnetically controlling all the buildings in the fucking city.
Yeah, that was really good.
But, yeah, that's the end of what's coming out on Wednesday. Well, 2 weeks from now, but a week from now. Hear this.
Maybe, unless I really feel like putting it up. We're already way over an hour.
We are?
Yeah,
Where we at?
we're at an hour and 3 minutes.
Oh, that's not way over an hour.
It's our normal run time. This is about what they've all turned out to be.
Okay.
But I really feel like we've only covered comics.
So,
I'm just saying.
we talked about Chronicle at the beginning of this,
Yeah,
and then
that's
it went
true.
on to a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I think I might still double post. I
Yeah.
might have to, I might still, I don't know. Just to get content out. More content we have, and more people see it.
Yeah, but if we have...
I'll wait to hold this one.
Okay.
I'll wait until next week to hold this.
Mhm.
But I might also do another one, like a game or something next week.
Oh, that's fine. And Gabe mentioned that you guys were going to do podcasts at CTV.
I do plan on podcasting at C2B too.
Okay.
That's on the weekend of Friday, April 13th through the 15th. We'll probably be doing a recap each night of stuff we've covered at the convention and whatnot. And I'll probably, the people that we interview there, I'll probably take the audio from that and edit it into the podcast as well as putting it online. So that'll be stuff for you guys to look forward to.
And also, you could probably look at the news that was announced that you weren't around actually here.
Yes. Yes.
That's one of the weird things about going to a convention.
Is
that-
miss a lot.
Yeah, you don't really hear about the news you normally read about on the web.
Yeah.
You look at them.
Yeah, like I'll say I miss the Marvel panel or something. Like there isn't really a buzz of what's going on at the convention. Like what they're announcing at the convention isn't really what the buzz is. Like the stuff that you hear, especially in the press rooms and stuff, is all for stuff that is far away from being announced.
Mhm.
And I kind of like that because it kind of gives you that little peek at, hey, I know something that actually nobody else kind of knows. But it's not actually confirmed yet, so I can't actually say anything.
Mhm.
But it's neat. I like it.
All right, then. I think we'll call it quits for now.
Wraps up another kind of epic show, guys.